Join Dessie Brown as he gives you inside access to industry leaders who are making it happen in entertainment, film, music, sports, and politics. It's the YouKnowDessie Show.
Yo. It's the YouKnowDessie Show. And we're live in ATL, where all the players dwell. And we are here at the amazing Sanctuary Studio. And I'm here with co-founder and partner of Sanctuary Studios, James Few. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm lovely, man. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for stopping by. You know, always great to have company in the space.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy, and there's a lot of great things happening here. And so I just want to get right into it. Please tell us how this came about, and also, I guess, start out with telling us about exactly what is Sanctuary Studios.
Yeah. Well, we're a full service production company, media company. We focus a lot on tech. As you see, we're in front of our LED walls. We have 300 panels of LED. So we do a lot of virtual production. And what I mean by virtual production, it's kind of twofold. You're seeing on the very high end of things, people using tech and LED to, recreate practical scenery. One of the big films out right now, well, TV shows on Disney Plus, The Mandalorian, where the whole set is LED. So we tiptoe in that area, but as we all know, still in the pandemic. In 2020, we started doing a lot of really mastered virtual production and virtual events with Zoom. Became like Zoom masters, for lack of better words. So we had a lot of corporate clients before the pandemic, and a lot of corporate event, a lot of live production, and a lot of that stuff stopped. Touring stopped. We had did a lot in music. All of that halted. So a lot of these clients still wanted to get content out there. They still wanted it to look professional. They still wanted it to look good. And we just saw an opportunity in the market to open a space that could cater to that. How could we make virtual, how could we make it exciting? How could we make it engaging? Because there's a lot of Zoom fatigue out there. People hate the conference calls. Artists and talent, they do their thing on IG Live and Facebook Live, but
it's not quite there. It don't hit the same.
Yeah, it's not quite there. So me and my partners have been in the game for the past, we probably got 50 years combined experience doing this. A lot of what you see in the studio now was sitting in storage and was sitting in other people's spaces. And we said, man, let's just bring it all together and open this space.
Yep. And how long have you been in this physical space? Because I know you mentioned doing some corporate work prior to, I guess really kicking off this particular part of the company. So how long have you been in this physical space here?
We've been in this space since fall 2020. I think we opened the space in August, did our first show in September. So, something really funny about, well, not really funny, but the space is it's a church, hence Sanctuary Studio. One of my partners' father is actually the pastor of this church. And of course, in-person services came to a halt. So the building was sitting here. So we made him an offer. And he graciously accepted it. And we gutted the church, tore out the stage, blacked out the ceilings, brought in all of our gear. And because it's an open space, we had a lot of freedom to get really creative. But our first show was in September with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, David Banner. Shout out to David Banner for the hoodie, the Blackfish tees and hoodies. But we did a show with him. Our first show had 2 Chainz, Lil Baby, Timmy.
Definitely saw that. Yeah, I love the different elements on the LED screens and everything like that. I know it's water now, but when I first walked in, they had fire and everything like that. So it's so realistic, and no matter how close you get to it, it still really looks good. And please talk about, you said it was an actual church. And so did you feel compelled to only do gospel shows here, or how did that kind of work out?
We haven't done one gospel show. We had, funny story, so who was it that came in? It wasn't, two stories. So Lil Baby pulled up, when we were doing the show. He pulled up in this, I guess, some type of Bentley. I don't know what he had, but it was nice. Right. But he pulls up on the side, goes to this trailer. I meet him at his car. He looked at me, looked at the building. He said, "Bro, is this a church?" And I was like, "It's a studio in there, but yeah, it's a church." He said, "But I'm performing it at the church." I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Cool." And so, but like Chainz, like everybody, everybody respects the space. And I think, when people come in here, even though it's a studio, but at the same time, the bones are a church. Right. And I think it causes people to just tighten up and be on good behavior. Yeah. Because if you've been on any set, you've been on any like music video, a lot of them go over time. You're talking 12, 14 hours, 16-hour days sometime. But this show,
they want to tighten up since they're in
this show was probably I've been doing this a minute, and I've done music videos, and they're always the same. It's always a surprise. It's unorganized. It's just something. Yeah. But when the brothers came in here, like they were about business, came in and out, and I think that's just the culture that we've created in the place. When people come in, not just me, but my partners, the crew that we work with. I mean, we're just all, about, customer service, right. Making people feel good, making people feel safe. And if you think about what
the church is supposed to be for.
Right, and what sanctuary is. What is a sanctuary? Whether it's wildlife sanctuary, it's about protection of the animals. If it's the sanctuary in a church, the sanctuary is a place where you come, it's calm,
You almost sound like a minister of sorts,
I am, man. I mean, I'm not the biggest, religious person, but I think, that definitely is the foundation of what we are and what we do, and I think it served us well.
Yeah, that's really great, and I'm looking forward to seeing the first gospel show here. Yeah. I live in Dallas, so I might have to hit up, TD Jakes or Kurt Franklin
tell
or somebody.
Hey, come on, we're here. I mean, we pre-record the church services still, and so we've had a few gospel acts, but we haven't been able to do the full concert yet. So that's to come.
Yeah. So where do you see this? Space growing into, because as the world opens back up now people feel like, especially with say like Georgia or Texas, places are starting to open up a little bit, so people are trying to get that live experience. So how do you see kind of your space still thriving in times like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think virtual, some component of virtual is here to stay. Yeah. We're itching to get back into live, because that's one of the big verticals of what we do. Live. We were doing live before this even started. Yeah. We were doing film before this even, before the pandemic started. So we're itching to get back to that. But we also know that the world changed, and there's going to be a virtual component to everything now. So you're going to have a live show. But is it going to be a limited audience? Are they going to go from 20,000 to 5,000? Right. So I mean, we really don't know what that's going to look like. But I'm very confident that there's going to be some component of virtual, whether we're bringing some of this tech to live and then streaming it out to multiple places. That's going to happen. I think a lot of artists and talent. And even on the corporate side too, have said, "Oh, we've saved a lot of money by not incurring a lot of expenses when it comes to logistics." And so, again, some clients are going to say, let's just do this big, corporate, sales meeting virtually, or let's have a series of small virtual events. So we have some clients that you know, definitely are traditional, you know, live, but they've communicated to us that their margins have been better in a pandemic. They want to get back. They want to get back out, but at the same time, they realize, you know, what environment we're in right now. So I think we're positioned well either way.
Yeah, I deal with Live Nation quite a bit, and I host a series of events with like House of Blues in Dallas and New Orleans and in Houston. And so that's what we're kind of working through, because a lot of the House of Blues didn't open back up once the pandemic hit. And so they were reaching out to me to kind of like put together a plan on doing some either all virtual events or like, you know, half virtual, half in person, you know. So it's just working through all of that, I think is really important in times like these. But yeah, I love the space. I think I could even, you know, see, it's a lot of space in here. It seems like y'all could even have people in here if y'all decided to. Have y'all even thought about that?
Yeah, we've had artists and talent come by and ask us what would it look like to have, you know, 20 to 40 people in. And you know, we don't want to, you know, make people too uncomfortable, but you know, we have a lot of space, and I think, you know, especially when it comes to comedy or just, you know, smaller live performances, I think, you know, artists, they thrive off of the interaction with their fans. And so that's one thing, you know, the consistent thing that I'm hearing, whether it's a comedian or whether it's a, you know, hip hop artist, you know, they thrive off that energy. So I think we can safely, you know, get a small amount of people in here and create an experience for them that makes them feel good. And I think it also adds to the, you know, to the show, to the production, to have some, you know, safe audience interaction, you know?
Yeah, and if people want to engage with your company or anything like that, please, you know, tell them how to do so.
Yeah, right now, Sanctuary Studios with an S, ATL on IG, and sanctuarystudio.co, C-O, that's our website.
Yeah, and once again, we're live in Atlanta with James Few. It's the YouKnowDessie Show. We really appreciate you for being on today. Is there anything else that you need to shout out before you get out of here?
No, just, you know, everybody, thanks for the support, thanks for the love, thanks for coming by and for this interview. You know, I think we're in a, you know, I was telling you before the camera started rolling, you know, even though it's been a hard time for a lot of people out there, and you know, we are definitely singing the praises of our community that have, you know, lifted us up in this time. You know, even, you know, without the pandemic, you know, none of, you know, this place wouldn't exist, ironically.
Right.
And it just, you know, it just shows, I think our testimony is probably, what I would want to share is like when things, you know, seem bleak and seem down, like you never know like what's around the corner for you, you know, what's around the corner for you. So I would just say, you know, just keep grinding, whatever your love or whatever your passion is, you know, like you told me, you put out 120 interviews or something like that.
Yeah, on Instagram Live.
Yeah, so, you know, same thing. You saw that, you know, something was needed. And so when you see that, you know, just do it. So that's what I got.
And definitely keep making it happen. You know, and on that, man, that was definitely a great word. And the doors of the sanctuary are open.
They're open. Come see us.
Peace.
All right.